Welcome back to another episode of Witticism. I'm Nolan.
And I'm Mary, bringing you the news that matters most around the globe.
So I recently found out that 4% of my DNA comes from a sub-Saharan African background. That's pretty cool, because now not only do I know that my mom cheated on my dad, but I'm also entitled to a huge variety of scholarships due to my newfound heritage. I am a minority, and I am proud.
Being a parent is hard work, and being a gay parent is harder work. There's extra paperwork at the adoption agency, stares from other parents, judgment from every Walmart employee ever. So when a local gay couple kidnapped a child they believed to be abandoned, I was completely on board. Why shouldn't they be able to have a child of their own, especially if the child in question was abandoned? I mean, I'm sure some of these lovely men would have made great fathers had the zoo not taken their baby away. Oh, did I forget to mention this lovely couple was 2 penguins in a zoo. Here at Witticism, we stand in solidarity with childless gay penguins. So please visit gaypenguinlove.com, a penguin gay porn site, to show your support.
Phones can do pretty much anything at this point, so replacing real human relationships should be no exception, right? This is true to at least a quarter of the population of British Columbians who said they'd choose a phone over their spouse 10 out of 10 times. Apparently the Vancouverites have had it up to here with all this being nice bullshit 24/7 and need to be with the person that really gets them, Siri.
When his neighbor's dog just wouldn't shut up early Saturday morning, a residential man decided to take care of the situation the only way he knew how, grabbing the defenseless little guy and chomping down on him. When pleading guilty in front of a judge and his body of rightfully judgmental peers, he closed his own case by stating, also quite judgmentally, "Frankly, none of you had to deal with that Cujo-looking thing every day, and I bet each and every one of you would have done the exact same thing if you were in my shoes."
Coffee is one of the leading reasons why college students haven't committed murder yet, but it's a pretty expensive anti-murder drink. What if I told you you could get it for free, and it would only cost you your personal information? This is a real thing. A shop called Shiru Cafe follows this procedure where you're unable to purchase a cup of coffee without your student ID. So forget locals or townies. The only people who can get free coffee are those who are already spending $50,000 a year on a degree. You have a deadline at work? Too bad, no coffee for you. You have a rare condition where you die without coffee. Sucks to suck. If the only way to counteract all that Viagra you took was to down a cup of Joe, looks like you're out of luck. It's worse than trying to get in the Lenses 451 class.
Have you ever found yourself thinking, whatever happened to Bill Cosby? Well, he's in jail, and his first meal was vanilla pudding. And someone actually found this to be a newsworthy story. I'm happy to know that his rape accusations haven't made his overused pudding joke a thing of the past. It's almost like being a rapist doesn't make people any less valuable. Oh, God.
KFC is trying to connect with more media users these days, now branching into the gaming field. Their marketing team says they've spent extensive amounts of money and time on researching for the perfect name for a new gaming division. After 3 weeks and $2.5 million, they've released their name on Twitter, KFC Gaming. So in hopes of getting some of that money, here are some names that we came up with. Kentucky Gaming, Kentucky Fried Nerds, Kentucky Fortnite Chicken, Chicken Games. You're already obese from our food, so don't get any exercise with our games. Bok Bok Games, My Mother Never Hugged Me, Finger Lickin' Games. Anything really would be a better name than KFC Gaming.
Next, we have Brianna in the studio to give you an update on what's going on behind the scenes.
Thanks, Mary. I'm happy to be here, but wish it was on better terms. We lost one of our own today. The only 40-year-old virgin on our crew has passed away after a 5-hour surgery yesterday. Andrew was brave enough to undergo a bionic penis restorative surgery since he was born as smooth as a Ken doll. While the surgery was a success, believe me, I got a lot of Snapchats. Andrew was electrocuted to death when he attempted to have sex for the first time. The doctors told him, no lube, but guess who he didn't listen to? The doctors. So let's all say a prayer and try to remember him the way we all know best, smooth and dickless.
Thanks, Brianna. Touching stuff.
I'll certainly never complain about my guy ever again.
I just hope he finds peace, and that someone took his batteries out. A university in Manchester is asking students to replace clapping with jazz hands to make events more tolerable for students with anxiety. What will they do about all the students with phobias of jazz choreography?
John Hall, the owner of a Tesla Model 3 car, was pulled over by an officer who stated that he's not allowed to have a computer mounted to his dashboard. John laughed as the officer because the computer was just his car touchscreen. The officer didn't like this and brutally grabbed John out of his car, bent him over, and spanked him with his own iPhone X. Joke's on the officer, he was into it.
Germany is guilty for a lot of things. We just try not to mention them these days. However, they're now victim to vineyard thieves. Whole wine vineyards are being stolen in the night. Not just one barrel, not just a few rows of grapes, everything in the vineyard. German officials believe it's the Jews haunting them, but don't want to say anything because, well, we all know what happened the last time the Germans blamed the Jews for something.
Football moms are known to be a level of psychotic that doesn't read on the Kinsey scale. From bribing referees, yelling at coaches, and now filing lawsuits when their children didn't make the varsity team. They'll go to any lengths to make sure Bobby has a chance to get into school with his 1.3 GPA. That's all the time we have. I'm Nolan.
And I'm Mary.
You stay beautiful, Indiana.
Hey! Yes, thank you all for tuning in today.
What's up, y'all?
How y'all doing? We're your hosts. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Tyrone.
So Tyrone, how are you doing on this lovely
I'm
day?
doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
You
Thank
looking
you.
excellent.
You know, because when you look good,
You feel good.
and you do good.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
So Tyrone, there's this question I wanted to ask you. Have you heard of this TV show that's on IUP-TV?
I did hear of a very interesting TV show lately. One of the segments that I liked was Creative Corner.
Oh, right, me too. And don't they like recognize students that have a lot of creativity and talent?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I
What's
like
the name
them.
of that show?
Hawk Talk.
Right.
Ah!
See, you said that rung some bells.
Yes, okay, speak some volume.
Turn all the way up.
Right. So for you guys that don't know about Hawk Talk, we cover a lot of things that go on around campus.
Right.
Okay, we have segments such as Hawk Hour,
Creative Corner.
Hawk News,
And Tea with Tyrone.
and plenty more
So make sure you tune in.
on Fridays at 9:30 p.m. See you then.
Hello. Oh, what's up, new guy? Welcome to Press Start. This is this video where we get things. We like to have fun here. It's a show about video games. We like playing video games. We like talking about video games. We give news about video games. Other things too. We like to have people in front of the camera though to give their opinion. So everybody's a part of Press Start.
Oh, hey, new guy. You're gonna need this. You're up.
All right, quiet, everybody.
Let's get that. All right. Good to go.
All right, everybody, quiet.
Welcome to a new segment here at Witticism. I'm Kate and I'm here to answer your questions. I'm looking forward to telling you how I, the no degree, unemployed, single, binge drinking woman, thinks you should live your life. The first question I have comes from @XXXJessica52. Jess asks, Kate, recently I've been trying to figure out a path to take in life. I enjoy finance and dancing, but don't know what career I should pursue. Can you help me? Why, yes. Yes, I can help you, Jess. First things first, we are in the 21st century. You don't have to have just one career path. Don't let society make you feel stuck in one box your whole life. Branch out and try as many things as you can. All of that aside, I recommend you combine your interests to find the perfect career for yourself. You love to dance and you love finance, so the answer is simple. Become a stripper. I mean, exotic dancer. If you want to be classy, but I know you don't. Strippers genuinely have a base salary of around $50,000 a year, and most of it is tax-free. Do you make $50,000 a year? I didn't think so, Jess. But who does? Strippers do! Save yourself the student loans and work your ass off, literally. Send me a postcard from somewhere exotic because you'll be able to afford it once you start stripping. Okay, next, I have a question from Trumper for Life. Trumper asks, do you want to make America great again? Oh, hello, Trumper. Interesting question you got there. Usually I only see it printed on caps and shirts that are ironically screen printed in China. To answer your question, however, I do plan to make America great again by making sure to vote this November and every other November. Be in charge of your officials, countrywide and local, to keep people like Trumper here out of office. That's the last question I have for you tonight. I hope you guys found whatever answers you were seeking. I'm Kate, and there's really only so much I can do.
I said the perfect Valentine's Day for someone would be sitting at home masturbating.
Or sideswiped a guy and because I wasn't looking, and I sideswiped him.
Were you on your phone?
No, I was not on my phone. I was not on my phone. I just wasn't looking.
I rear-ended someone in the parking lot at high school because I was trying to make a tweet.
If you're anything like me, you know, devastatingly handsome and a frequent premature ejaculator.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da 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 dee da dee dee da dee dee da dish dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da 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 dee da dee da dee da dee da dee dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee da dee da da. Oh my God. Dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee da dee da dee da dee da dee. Presenting Schizophrenia!
Welcome back to Witticism's Word of the Day, your main source for today's most important words. Today's word of the day is pew! Noun, the sound a laser makes. Pew pew! Thanks for tuning in.
It was the early 1930s. I lived in Berlin for a year for the cultural experience. And I had a coupon. I ended up dating this marvelous young man who swept me off my feet. He had a passion for genetics, yet he hated his own. He let me go on and on about my European ancestry, my gorgeous long blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes, all in my golden genetics. That's what he used to call them. After a marvelous year together, I thought he was going to propose to me. I never knew his last name. The mystery in his life kept me wanting more from him. We went out for our anniversary dinner later that night. He had taken me to one of my favorite restaurants, Denny's. The two of us had spent the whole dinner reminiscing on the past year and about how much fun we'd had together, from our hunting trips, our baking lessons, and the summer camps we had invested into. I caught him staring at me lovingly from across the table after we finished eating dessert. "Bertha," he said to me. I replied, "Yes, Adolf." I was so tense. Is this what I've been waiting for? My big hurrah, to finally say yes to the dress? Till he asked me, "Want to go halvesies on the check?" I audibly gasped, but I made it look like I bit my tongue on accident. In his defense, we didn't eat out much, yet he was always pinching pennies still. I once caught him leave a tip with a string attached to it so he could later retrieve the dollar he left behind. We left the restaurant and I must have seemed visibly upset because that night he promised to treat me like Queen Elizabeth herself. He spent 45 minutes undoing my corset, bloomers, petticoat, and pantyhose. And in those 45 minutes, I felt how much I longed to be his wife. As we lay down in bed and he caressed my delicate skin, I asked, "Why haven't you asked me to be your wife?" And he looked at me shocked and instantly dropped to one knee. Out of nowhere, he pulled out a ring. He looked me in the eyes and said, "Bertha, will you be my Mrs. Hitler?" It was everything I had ever wanted. Yet, somehow I knew I couldn't say yes. Hearing that name, Hitler, it just didn't sound right to me. Something about it seemed barbaric, cult-like. I couldn't explain it until about 10 years later, but hey, that's what history books are for.
I fell in love with the campus, with the people, with my IUP life. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
It'd be so nice if I could just like put my fingers in that purring mass of fur and remember that there's innocence in the world during this time.
Hey Google, am I prepared for midterms?
How prepared do I feel for midterms? I'm generally like a C student, and so for being a C student, I feel pretty prepared. I do.
I am so prepared for midterms. I'm actually prepared for finals because I want to get out of here because college is taking too long and it needs to end.
I don't say I ever am. We will weather the storm and then we will get back to you.
No, but not like in like a bad way. Like I just usually don't prepare. I'm one of those annoying people that I don't really need to study for stuff and I do pretty okay. So I just kind of let it happen. It is kind of like a fun game, actually.
Do I feel prepared for midterms? Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know, and that's the scary part. Like, I kind of forgot they were here until I had to write this.
Am I ever prepared for anything? No.
I think I have like 3 essays due next week and I haven't started any of them, so I think I'm doing pretty good.
These came back from a search.
10 ways to study for midterms because you're not prepared. Guess I'm not prepared for midterms.
Yeah, I think they're in the act of creeping up on me. I've taken one and I don't know when any of my other ones are, which I guess is a problem.
I was kind of expecting midterms to be somewhere close to now, but I'm kind of surprised by midterms because I don't normally have midterms. I'll have like maybe 1 midterm in a class, but the rest of my classes are normally just either you take 3 tests, so there's never really a midterm per se, or you take 4 and it's kind of split up even more, so you never really notice a midterm.
I definitely think midterms came up quick. I don't feel like it's very mid to me. I feel like it's super early, and I agree. I was thinking more November. Definitely was not prepared.
Yeah, they always do, because you really think they're gonna be, I don't know, I think you think they're gonna be more in November or something. It's kind of weird that they're in October when you think about it, just because, I mean, it makes sense. I don't know why I think it's weird, but I do mid-October, and the school year ends sometime in December. I don't know.
Not really. I think this semester is just going super fast, which I can't really complain about because I want to get the f out of here. But I don't really have any midterms I guess I just turned in my midterm art project, if you would call it that. My professors kind of just like to be like, oh, this is the exam, but like we can just consider it your midterm, so.
I mean, with midterms, like you know that they're coming, but the worst part is that when they're there, it's like the night before Christmas. Like you're just sitting there and you're like, I can't sleep. I can't do anything. I can't like relax. I can't like not think about it, but you don't want to think about it. So you're like in this weird headspace. And then half the time you're like overthinking, or you mix up your classes and you end up studying for one that you think you have and you don't have it that day, you have it another day.
just a whole cluster of messed up emotions.
Yeah, I always feel that way because everything's just kind of like smooth sailing and then suddenly you have everything due all the time.
Don't appreciate it anymore in this society.
I think the true MVP of this team has been Kayshawn Carter. He is second in kick return average. He already had a touchdown this season, and he's really been the unsung hero for this team. He puts the offense in a great position. He gets them to just about the 40-yard line every single kickoff return.
You know, it takes a lot for me to do this as a Michigan fan, but unfortunately I'm going to have to say that I'm probably going to put Ohio State at the top of the Big Ten. Second to them, I'm probably going to put Penn State. They've been able to find their groove without Saquon.
Throwing Gritty, that dude. Jeez.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that guy. So to paint a picture for everybody, Gritty is their new mascot. Looks absolutely atrocious. And rather than putting a graphic
That's an
up,
understatement.
oh, my God. He looks like the animal from the Muppets.
I think they do have a chance of contention if they beat Georgia. Because when you look at the rest of their schedule, very easy. Not a single top 25 team on there the rest of the way.
My answer would have to be a pro deck hockey player because those guys are real sick.
Hey guys, I'm Haley.
I'm Kane.
Hi, I'm Haley, and you're watching Witticism.
You're watching Witticism.
And you're watching Witticism.
Midterms are the doorway to hell, and hell is finals.
All right, so tips and tricks to surviving midterm. We have Google, Bing, Yahoo Answers, that's important. Quizlet is a good one because most of biology and chemistry use it, which I'm not saying you should know it.
Just a lot of coffee, a lot of ibuprofen, some Culturelle if stress makes you upset.
So any tips and tricks? Crying, procrastination, that's a good one, yeah. Sleeping, legend says if you put the book underneath your pillow and then go to sleep, you'll absorb all the information.
Tips for surviving midterms. I would say Red Bull, maybe some flashcards, Google, just kidding. Don't cheat.
You're gonna be eating a lot of like weird foods at weird times, but that's okay because they've got the pancake things usually set up, like the church and Folgers, they both do pancake evenings.
I mean, the best thing is caffeine should be your best friend. Always have that. I already have my booty call on speed dial, so the stress will be gone as soon as I'm done. And I already felt that, you know, if I get them out of the way, then that's just one more thing done. And in the words of Kimmy Schmidt, you can do anything as long as you do it at 10 seconds at a time. So just count to 10 seconds for each question. You'll be fine.
Sleep if you can and when you can. Like that might not necessarily be at night, but if you can, just do it.
I guess my midterm tips is to study because it's probably not a good thing that I don't. Just be better than me is my tip.
Don't deal with your problems, avoid them like I do. Take lots of naps, go to McDonald's even if you're not hungry, just do it, like for fun.
Okay, so midterms are a tricky time and you have to be smart and you have to like maneuver your way around campus. I recommend doing everything 5 minutes before anyone else so that you can't look like you copied someone and you look more prepared. Even when you're not, you just looked at your notes 5 minutes before and remembered the answer because you just looked at it. Preparedness. And people say cramming doesn't help and that research shows that it isn't as effective as studying 2 weeks prior. But who's in college? Me. And who's telling you it works? Me. Use me on your works cited page. You will get credit.
There's this one year, and I think it was midterms, when all of my assignments and my tests were on the same freaking Wednesday. I don't even know how that's possible because I didn't have all 5 classes on the Wednesday, but I guess online stuff was due on Wednesday. Everything was due on that Wednesday, and it was hell. And I know I missed at least half of it because it was just awful.
I don't know about midterms having any stories, but I've had a couple when it was before midterms and I was stressing out a whole bunch, and I just decided to go off one night and get really drunk because I wanted to get away from the stress. And there were a lot of fun things that happened that night, but I remember about half of them.
I remember it was freshman year. It was my, new to college. It was midterms. We're all sad because it was Thursday and we're in studying, so we all started like beer bonging our Red Bulls, and that just did not end well. And then I think we went out anyway. So that's a tip from a C student, so don't do that. Stay in the library, drink your coffee.
I mean, I have only taken the one midterm, but a girl who definitely has the flu finished it before me, which was like a big blow to the pride a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it, I guess. Which is weird, because I'm stressed about like a lot of weird stuff, but like tests, which I feel like is a common stress, is just something that I'm like, well, this is happening now, I guess.
So there are some stories, and this maybe go with tips and tricks. Don't go to your midterm with a cold. You're just a bitch. Like, I cannot focus when the girl next to me is like, and then 2 minutes later, she's like, I'm like, girl. Have you heard of NyQuil? Dayquil, maybe? Maybe even a tissue? You ever see those Kleenex, like, cute packs? You can get them at the dollar store for $1. $1. I'm not spending like $1,000 to sit there, be pissed that I'm taking a test, and then not even be able to take it because you're over there acting like you're snorting coke.
One time, as I was walking to a midterm, I saw this girl fall, and then she just got up and turned around and walked home. It was me.
One time freshman year, I was in my prob and stat midterm, and this kid just pulls out a PB&J Uncrustable and starts eating it during the test, and I've literally never admired someone more than that moment.
Also, when I'm standing there taking the test, I don't want to hear or feel your hot saliva hit the back of my neck because you don't know how to cover your damn mouth. It's called your inner elbow. Here's a demonstration. Pick up your arm because you feel a cough coming. Move arm over mouth. Cough. You did it. Now, you probably won't pass your midterms as easily as that, but you can try.
And then one time, I was late to my midterm for chemistry because I was napping, because apparently that's all I do during midterms. The theme of this episode is naps.
Midterms make you cry. They tear out your heart. They ruin lives. Do you know what midterms bring you? Nothing, except a piece of paper that's worth more than you would ever spend on a vehicle or your wedding or a house. It's gonna suck balls. And by the time you even get to the point of paying it off, guess what? You're still not paying it off because you have more things to pay off. So midterms are just the open gateway to hell.
Welcome to a new segment here at Witticism.
She's not looking at the wrong camera.
Hey, shit. Is that good?
I blew it and it came back.
I can touch my toes.
Oh, I'm thinking of Mary Kate. It's because they added their new movie, their old movie, New York Minute on Netflix.
It's on Netflix? No, the challenge. You got so excited.